So I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw this video by Rasplin MC where he says collect a rose for how much you love them, and he collects a lot of these. Well, technically they're called poppies, but he collects quite a few of them. And I mean, clearly this is just like a creative world, and he's just placed all of this stuff in creative mode and duplicated all of these roses. And it's a really cute video, but I'm gonna do it in actual survival Minecraft just because I love her so much.
Hello, welcome. I call the world roses. I click create world, and it's on in a village, which is pretty cool. And I just get the basic stuff. I get wood, I make a pickaxe, and I get some stone tools. So welcome. This is a very long video. It'll be buckling in for about an hour long if you're gonna watch the whole thing. So grab some sour cream onion chips, grab some cheddar Lay's, grab some jalapeno Cheetos, and enjoy the video. Now you might be wondering why I'm recording a post commentary and not talking during the run. And it's because I was very hyper focused on being as efficient as possible during this run. You'll see later on that it went pretty south and it didn't really go to plan like at all. But even if it went to plan, it would still take a very long time. So I was fully locked in during the entire thing, and you'll see like I'm going very fast. So I'm a speedrunner. I've beat the game a lot, and I've reset 1.5 million seeds in total. I have the world record for a lot of runs, and I'm very good at speedrunning the game. I know how to play seeds, and although this was a village seed, which is a pretty good spawn, I didn't really get much from this village. I got one hay bale and one bed, as you see, and I'm already leaving the village. There's nothing really here. I did look for the iron golem, but for some reason, whenever I play spruce seeds or spruce village seeds, I don't really get the iron golem. It's not because of any issue. I did look around for quite a bit. I did kind of cut it off, and you'll see I cut off a lot of stuff, and I condensed the video very much because, again, it's 15 hours of footage, and there's a lot of useless stuff. But I'm trying to beat the game as fast as possible, and you'll see both of the shipwrecks I loot unfortunately don't have the treasure chest, the one with the iron and the gold and that kind of stuff, all of the metal. I didn't get that in either of the shipwrecks. They were all both half shipwrecks. However, I was able to do mapless here and get a ton of iron from this buried treasure, as you'll see. The reason I'm trying to beat the game as fast as possible, and the reason that I'm moving really fast, is because I want to get the elytra, I want to get shulker boxes, and I also want to get the full diamond tools and full diamond armor. It'll help a lot, as you'll see. I'm currently just crafting all of my tools. So I craft a shovel, I craft a pickaxe, I craft a bucket, I craft a shield, I craft a gold helmet, I craft all my food, and I'm ready to go. And I'm currently looking for a magma ravine to enter. Right, and also just to be fully transparent with you guys, I fully edited this video. I cut up everything. I removed all of the useless stuff before recording this voiceover, so it's really easy for me to kind of just go through it and record my voice and kind of explain everything that's happening. Again, I'm just trying to beat the game right now. So right now I'm entering, or trying to find a magma ravine. I find it really deep in this water cave. I don't think I've seen anything like this before, but it was a really weird magma ravine, but I did end up finding one. This is a simple L-shaped portal that I did. You'll see it wasn't really the best, and it wasn't too deep through the entire thing. It was only too deep in specific blocks, so I had to do a little bit of portal surgery, as you can see here, but it didn't end up mattering too much. I'm not really going for a world record at all. And I realized I don't have any flint and steel. So I go back up and I get some flint from gravel, which is a little higher up. I did get a little bit unlucky. I think it was 1 in 13, as you'll see here, but it wasn't really too bad at all. And I enter the nether. This nether isn't really anything too special, like at all. If you've seen a nether before, you've seen this nether. It's very simple. You'll see I just mined some blocks. And something that's really important to mention is food management. So food management is one of the most important things that you have to learn when you're speedrunning at a very high level, because you're going to be entering the nether with like 5 pieces of food, and you have to make that last for the entire run. So I make some gold carrots here. And one thing that's also kind of interesting is, as a speedrunner, I'm really used to using F3, which gives you entities in your FOV and the pie chart. So you can pi ray for fortresses, and you can E-ray for bastions. I ended up using neither of them for this run, not because of any content creation reason or because I thought it was cheating, but because I just kind of wanted to challenge myself. I used to run no F3. I actually hold the world record for no F3, as I think I mentioned previously in the run. I end up god bridging as well. I had a lot of fun drag clicking in this run. I have fun implementing drag clicking into my gameplay. It's actually one of the things I find really fun about Minecraft right now. And I do a very basic route. It's housing bastion. I just do manhunt housing. Unfortunately, though, there was a zombie piglin here near this double chest, so I messed up the route a little bit, but it wasn't really too big of a deal. I think in challenge runs, you almost always want Treasure Bastion, just because you get so many more, like, gold blocks. Obviously, the extra stuff as well, like if you get a netherite tool, that helps a lot, and if you get diamond armor, that helps a lot. But more important than any of that is just the additional gold you get, because you're usually not going to be running in 1.16.1 to get optimal pearl trades. So having the 24 gold blocks, I believe it is, helps a lot. You'll see one of my biggest issues in this Bastion run was not having proper inventory management, which I'm not really used to keeping all of this extra stuff. I'm usually only keeping the stuff necessary to beat the game. Obviously, this is to farm roses, so there's a lot of extra stuff that I have to keep, which you wouldn't normally have to keep. I do end up clearing my inventory out. However, one mistake that I made here was I didn't take this crossbow. I got a ton of obsidian from this chest though, which is really nice. I didn't take this crossbow. And the second mistake that I made was when I was trying to craft this string into wool here, as you'll see in a second. It ended up kind of bugging because I picked up a block in the same tick and I was trying to craft it, and when I clicked escape, it burned all of my string, which was absolutely horrible. You'll see I end up getting enough string to make 14 wool, but that was still a major blunder, and you'll see it comes back to bite me absolutely horribly. Anyways, I leave the Bastion pretty happy. I have all my pearls, I have a lot of obsidian, I have all my string, enough for 5 beds, or well, 4 beds with the wool, and then I got 1 from the village. So it was pretty decent. I killed a couple of hoglins. This one almost killed me, but I got quite a bit of food, and I think I have enough for the rest of the run. Anyways, the fortress. This was a very long fortress, not because it took me a while to find the spawners. You see, I've already found both of the spawners. This skeleton missed me, like the bozo that he is, and I started killing these blazes. You see, I think I got 9 for 25, which is about average blaze luck, but you'll see the first like 10 blazes I kill, I got no blaze rods. I do blaze TNT just to kind of clear up the spawner, and this was actually a really interesting blaze kill right here. And I have some fun dry clicking, and you'll see no rod there. I built this portal. I actually really like this portal build. I've been working on my blind portal builds, and I like them a lot. You'll see here. Actually, I think all of these blazes dropped portals, but no rod, no rod, no rod, no rod. And you'll see my little mouse shake that I was pretty upset. I think 3 of these 4 blazes dropped blaze rods. I was able to go ahead and leave. This thing might be a little bit controversial, so after I blind, you'll see that I decide to use a calculator to find the stronghold. This is something that is allowed in speedruns, but a lot of people that I've played with, when I pull this out, they say it's not allowed. I don't care. If you get mad at me, you get mad at me. And I find exactly where the stronghold is, and I just decide to dig down on it. And the stronghold is really interesting, actually. You'll see immediately when I enter, there's a spider spawner right in the first 5-way room, which is really interesting. I ended up not using it like the entire run, but it was just really weird. Usually I have seen some spawners within strongholds, but nothing like that where it's just immediately after you enter. I decided to mine all the bookshelves for enchanting in case I need any of the books, and we're entering the end. Okay, so I'm a speedrunner. I mean, I've mentioned that a couple of times, I think, and you've seen from how long I've taken to beat the game here. So I've played it in the end a lot, like a lot. And you see me just immediately set up the perch thing, and I go up, I craft all of my beds, and everything's going handy dandy. Just as I've practiced this hundreds of times, I've beat the end thousands of times. And, you know, I'm just sitting there, I see the perch, I go in, and I get ready to just kill the dragon. But unfortunately, I don't know what happens here, but this bed kind of bugs when I right-click it. And I pick block, I place the other bed, but that bed bugs somehow, and then I pick block obsidian, and I mess some stuff up. And I realize I don't have enough beds to one cycle again. So I decide that I'm going to go ahead and do normal strat, but I fall, and I die. And I don't know. It's fine though. We get back up. We break some wood. These zombies were chasing me, which I thought was kind of funny. We make a boat. We make some doors. We loot a shipwreck. We get all of the iron from here, and I follow this buried treasure. I make this really interesting escape from the spider with this door. Really fun. I think that might have been the funniest use of a door that I've ever done. I use the map to find the buried treasure. I get a lot more iron from there, and just some more gems, stuff in general. I make full tools, I make a bucket, I make shears, I get a flint and steel. This gravel kind of rolled me on luck, I won't lie. And I decide to kill a lot of food, and I shear some sheep to get all of my wool. Hit that emoji water, and we go straight into the end right again. This end was really interesting here, so immediately I went to my place where I died. I deposited all of my stuff in these chests. I get all of my gear, everything I need to kill the end, and I decide to sit there and mine the 2 blocks that I accidentally placed that messed up my perch. And like the same exact time I did that, I died, which really sucked, but I knew that everything was set up and I just have to enter. So I got some more tools and I just go straight back into the stronghold. I do this really interesting way to get down. This creeper almost kills me, but you know, we get through here. But these skeletons killed me. And I won't lie, this death kind of sucked. And I just kind of sat there and I just looked at my screen. It's fine though. We get back up. We got some wood, made some stone tools. We go back down the hole. And luckily there were no mobs here this time. I would have probably died, and I would have probably even given up if that was the case. But I enter the end, and I go back into the middle. I get all of my stuff. I eat food to make sure I'm full health, and I wait for the perch, hit the pearl, and this time I hit a nice and clean 5-5. So yeah, really interesting end, and I'm glad that it's finally over. Well, the end's not over. I still have to bridge up to this end gateway. I pearl through, I go to the end city, and I decide to start looting it. Honestly, and this is why I was saying I made those 2 really big mistakes. If I had a water bucket, which was another mistake that I made that I didn't even mention, I would have been able to hit the emoji water and not die there from fall damage. If I had a crossbow, I wouldn't even have to go up, so I wouldn't have died from fall damage. If I had more beds, I could have just waited for another perch and done another 1 cycle. But I guess it was just a bad storm of a lot of bad events. There were quite a few loot rooms. I think there were 3 total loot rooms. There were 2 loot rooms, which were the 3 tall, and I think there was 1 tall tower with a flat top. While I was bridging though, I unfortunately fell and had to hit this MLG water. It's fine though, I broke all of these blocks and I bridged straight up to the end ship. This end ship was really good. I had extremely good loot. And actually, I spent a lot of time that I cut out because it was kind of useless, but I killed a lot of shulkers, and I got a ton of shulker shells. I think I got 10 shulker shells, as you see, so I got 5 shulker boxes. But these chests were insane. I got a looting 3 sword, I got a mending efficiency 4 unbreaking diamond pickaxe, a almost perfect shovel, and I got full diamond armor. Anyways, I decided to kind of glide back to the main end island. I deposit all of my stuff in shulker boxes, and we're finally done with the end, and we can finally actually start making the rose farm, which I'm probably really confused on how we're going to do that. So let's go ahead and start that process. So when I was recording this footage, I was really confused as to how I was going to edit it, because I didn't really know if it would make sense after I edit it. But right now I'm just collecting a ton of resources. I decided to kill a lot of mobs for food, and it's really good that I have a looting sword, because I was able to get tons and tons of drops from these mobs. So I got 7 steak from 2 cows, so I kill a couple more cows, I think like 5 pigs, and I just get a ton of wood. I decided to use the TNT that I got from the second buried treasure, I think. And yeah, I'm currently just collecting a ton of wood. I mined, I think it was like 2,000 total logs by the end of this entire thing. I cut out a lot of my tree farming because it was just kind of useless and there wasn't really a point of including it in the video. I think I still included like a good amount though. As you can see right here, I'm showing a ton of trees. And the main thing that I'm trying to do right now is find a desert biome, which you'll see why in a little bit. But I loot this pillager outpost. I get some carrots and potatoes. Is always nice to have more food. And I also get this crossbow, which I don't think I ended up using a single time actually. But anyways, after a couple thousand blocks of walking, I believe, I found a swamp biome, which I didn't think would be useful at all, but you'll see it was very useful later on. And I'm just spending the entire night getting a ton of cactus And I'm also killing a ton of creepers for gunpowder because I need firework rockets. Okay, I think it's kind of time to explain what my plan is. So in the original Instagram reel that we saw, though the flowers that the person collected were actually not roses. Those are called poppies nowadays. They used to be called roses, and the dye used to be called rose red dye, but they've changed it in recent times. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create a cactus farm, because you're able to compost a lot of blocks, obviously, but cactus is pretty efficient. It's a 65% compost success rate, and it's a pretty efficient bone meal farm. And if you bone meal roses, the actual rose bushes in the game, then you're able to basically just duplicate the roses. So the plan currently is to make a very large cactus farm and feed all of the cactuses into a composter, and then feed all of that bone meal into a flower farm that lets me get infinite roses, basically, for my girlfriend. Also, something else that's really interesting is this was initially supposed to happen on August 1st. This was supposed to come on August 1st, which is my girlfriend's birthday. However, it unfortunately had a lot of delays, not only because of the world taking additional time, but because I was traveling and because I didn't have much time. I've been doing a lot of stuff recently, and the whole video went out of scope, and it wasn't really what I was expecting. So it took a really, really long time. But you'll see I'm killing a lot of creepers. I need some firework rockets. And I think I've got about 2 stacks of cactus this night, which is basically all you need, because again, the farm is kind of self-sustaining. Obviously, it's a farm. You're not supposed to lose cactus making a cactus farm. But it takes about 16 cactus per layer, and I wanted to get a good amount of the farm done before I needed to kind of eat into the farm supplies to get more. And actually, the looting sword helped a lot. I think I killed about 25, maybe like 50 creepers, actually, I think is the correct number this entire run, and I got a ton of gunpowder. You can see it's a morning now, and I just had to kind of settle down here. Okay, this was really, really interesting. So usually I cut out a lot of the useless things that I did. You'll see later on what I mean by that exactly. But I spent a extremely long time on this, and it was actually really big to the point where I don't think I can just kind of not include any of this footage. But I made a huge mistake here. I spent an absurd amount of time. I think it was maybe an hour and a half making this gigantic, when I say gigantic, I mean genuinely gigantic sugarcane farm. I mean, technically it's not really horrible because it means I can manually farm bone meal for a bone meal farm, so I can make more roses. So if I ever want to, increase my rates and make more bone meal, I can manually farm some. But I don't know why I did this. I think it was because I expected I needed a lot of sugarcane for firework rockets. But I don't really know why I thought this. How far do I really have to travel? I'm making farms. I don't really need to travel too far. But yeah, that's probably the biggest blunder that I made this entire video. I don't know what I was thinking. It's kind of not that big of a deal though, because it looks really, really cool. I mean, it's a pretty inefficient sugarcane farm though. When you're mining it, a lot of it falls into that water, but whatever. I make this little enchanting table setup when I have to eventually enchant. I sleep, I set up all my shulker boxes, and I mine a lot of sand, a lot of sand. Not like in this clip, in this time specifically, but I think I ended up mining 10,000 blocks of sand this entire run, which is just insane, and I don't include a lot of it in the video, even though I probably could, but it would just be a waste of time. I make this house. It's not really a crazy house because I'm not really a builder, but I think it looks decent enough to kind of get the job done. I make the floor out of the same color as the walls, kind of, which is not a big mistake. It doesn't really matter. It's just fully aesthetic, but I think I should have made it stone or something like that. But I make the roof. I struggle a lot with roofs. Luckily though, this house is literally just a square, so it wasn't really too difficult to make this roof. I mean, hey, it's a pretty ugly house, but it's in the middle of the desert, and it gets the job done, so whatever. This roof, I actually ran out of spruce, so I wasn't able to finish. I placed all my furnaces, I placed my chest, I placed my bed. And honestly, man, I wish I could tell you what I was doing or what I was thinking in this moment. Maybe I was procrastinating because I didn't want to make the cactus farm. It was the last major thing that I had to do before the video was over. But I decided to expand my sugarcane farm. Why did I ever even think it was needed to do this? I mine a lot of sand, but most of this was for glass. but like, I mean, you can see how much sand I'm placing. I'm filling all of this water with sand, which I could have been more efficient with it. I could have used like cobblestone at the bottom, but no, I had to fill every single block of this river up with sand. And I don't know, I wasted like actually an insane amount of time on this. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely not the most like inefficient portion of this video. There was a lot of time that I wasted completely, that I got nothing done, which you'll see later on. But it wasn't even like, but it wasn't my fault like at all. This was just a complete like lapse in my judgment. I don't know what I was thinking. Hey, that's probably the biggest sugarcane farm that I've ever made. The thing with sugarcane is like, in most worlds, you just make a simple like observer thing where it just like uses pistons on it and then you just collect the sugarcane. You never like need a super big sugarcane farm. That's like the dumbest way to ever make sugarcane. So it's definitely not the most efficient farm, but it's a pretty big farm. I mined a lot of sand, as you saw. I had like over half of a double chest full of sand. Because I need a lot of glass and also just like a good amount of sand in general for the cactus farm. And this is basically my main resource run, so I'm getting a ton of wood. This is basically all of the wood that I'll need to make the cactus farm. I get some more animals, but that actually wasn't because I needed to get more food. I had more than enough food. That was to repair my shovel with mending, because it was actually almost broken, as you can see in my hopper right now. And I had a mining trip. This mining trip was the only mining trip that I needed. Again, this was just the main resource run that I needed. It's the final resource run that I needed to get everything that I needed for my cactus farm. And I got it was mainly for coal, because I needed to smelt a lot of glass. As you'll see, I'm mainly mining coal. But I think I also got like a stack and a half of iron, which was definitely more than enough. And it was a pretty long mining trip. I also decided to mine some obsidian to make an enchantment table, which you'll see I need that for unbreaking on my elytra. And I get a little bit of redstone. I found some diamonds in this mine shaft, and I decided to leave. And I'm pretty sure that at this point I have every single thing that I need to make my cactus farm, except for maybe a little bit more wood, but that's not too big of a deal. I don't have to go mining anymore. You saw that mining trip was actually pretty successful. I had about like 8 stacks of coal. Every single one of those stacks is 8 stacks of glass, which is really, really good. And you saw I also enchanted my axe in case I needed some more wood. I got pretty good enchants on my axe. I think it was like Unbreaking 2 efficiency 4 or something like that. And that's still touch as well, which is pretty good. And I'm enchanting books to get Unbreaking, because I need Unbreaking on my elytra, which was pretty good. So I make this anvil over here with some of the iron that I had, and I decided to make my Unbreaking elytra, which is really, really nice. And basically right now I have everything that I need, so I start working on my cactus farm. Right, so this cactus farm is pretty simple. I think it's like an 11 by 11, which is the exact dimensions you need for when this water flows. You see there's a little hole in the middle, so whenever the cactus grows and breaks, it'll fall right into the water and it'll flow into the middle. And because I kind of have a hopper collecting all of it. This glass, you don't actually need glass. You can use any block. I decided to use glass so you can see through it. And you just place the cactus and the fences. Surprisingly, the fences actually prevent the cactus from growing. It just makes it so it breaks and falls into the water. Hey, this is the first time that I'm actually talking when making the world, and this isn't just like a recording that I made after I actually already recorded the video. So I'm currently sitting here and I've just done research for like a couple hours, and I realized that this is actually extremely inefficient to make a bone meal farm with cactus. So I'm gonna see the best way is moss blocks, but unfortunately there aren't moss blocks in this version. So I'm gonna try porting it to 121 and then seeing if I can do it in that version instead. We're currently loading the world in 121. It should work, because I'm pretty sure we haven't loaded new chunks. I'm pretty sure that current chunk data should come over. I think it's just when you're backporting. Okay, it worked. We're in 1.21 now, and we were able to load in. So I'll hand it back over to Futuronian now. Right. Okay. So you were probably wondering, why is this video so long if you're already making the cactus farm? You were like 20 minutes in the video and it's like an hour-long video. Yeah, that's why I actually need to make a bone meal farm using moss blocks, because it's incredibly more efficient. And to get all the materials for that, I need a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot of iron and just like a ton of other materials, especially redstone. So I decided to go down, and luckily, weirdly, the caves kind of generated really weirdly. So lush caves and stuff like that still existed, even though they were 1/16 chunks. I'm not really sure how porting works. I'll leave this in the description if you want to kind of figure it out. And I just decided to mine a lot. So this was the main mining trip. This is why
this video so long. So I actually, really interestingly, you saw me craft a furnace and put some salmon in there. I had about 5 salmon, and I actually ran completely out of food, and I was eating rotten flesh for a majority of this mining trip, as you'll see. You'll see my hunger bar go green because I have hunger. I decided to make a quick nether portal and go into the nether to get some blocks because I didn't really have any blocks with me. I actually wasn't really prepared for this mining trip. I just kind of decided to do it like completely out of a whim. And yeah, I'm just finding a ton of iron. This actually took a really long time to edit. I've seen like tons of videos like this where people edit like this, and I think it's always really cool. So I decided to kind of give it a try, and you can see I have hunger right now. But actually, there's also this really weird invisible lava that I decided to keep in this video because it's just really odd. I don't think I've ever experienced something like this. It might be an issue because I was doing this basically like as soon as 1.21 came out, so I was using earlier versions of the mod. I'm just finding a ton of iron. And you know, like as I was saying, this took a really long time to edit. I wasn't expecting it to take this long.
Why is there so much iron? Like, I'm sorry. I really wanted this to be like probably like later camera commentary. There's so much iron. I mean, don't get me wrong, I need like a lot of iron, so I'm not complaining, but why is there so much iron, dude? Like, it's insane. Look, there's another iron vein over there. Why is there so many of these like big ass like tough iron veins? Look,
yeah, so as you can see, I was very confused to why there were so many of these like really big iron veins. I've never really mined for iron like this. I usually just make like an iron farm, which maybe is what I should have done in this video, actually, but like, I don't know, I mined so much iron, and I actually mined way more iron than I needed. I think I had like 10 stacks of extra iron after I finished everything, which you know, obviously is like a lot. So I didn't actually need to mine all of this iron, which would have saved me a lot of time editing it and whatever. I didn't really know how much iron I needed, and I actually miscalculated a lot because I did based on how much ores I mined, not how much I got, and I had fortune 3, so I got a lot more. But I eventually ended up finishing, and then I go back to my house. And yeah, iron was like the main like hard resource that I had to mine. I needed a lot of other resources as well, especially cobblestone. I needed a ton of cobblestone. I needed a ton of wood as well. I went on a couple of wood trips, which I think I cut out of the video because they were just really like redundant. However, I needed to craft a lot of stuff for this farm. It's really efficient, but it wasn't really made with like simplicity in mind. This farm was made by Elmango, who's one of the biggest members of Slycraft. He's known for making extremely efficient farms. He's known for making farms that are so efficient that like they literally lag the game because they're that efficient. Like his zombie piglin farm is so efficient that you have to burn some of the XP because it reaches the XP cap for how much XP you can get in the game. So yeah, he makes really good farms. But I decided to kind of get all the resources for this farm. It needs like, you know, there's a ton of like random stuff, like there's like barrels and composters and redstone torches obviously, and just like dispensers, droppers, all of that jazz. And I needed to mine a ton of stone as well. But unfortunately, as you can see, while I was mining stone,
so I just checked, and apparently the last like hour of footage didn't record. So like, I'm actually really annoyed at that. I got some more wood. I got a lot of wood, so I was able to craft all my hoppers, got all the quartz. So I made this nether portal here for the observers and for the comparators, I think needed. Or is it observer? It's observer and something else. I think it is comparator. Yeah, and then I smelted smooth stone. I was mining stone, I'm pretty sure, and I realized that you need a lot more stone for observers as well. So I'm mining 6.5 stacks for all those observers I need. Okay, I'm actually like really upset about that. It makes me feel like I can't show the footage for the stuff that I actually did. Like I'm not cheating. If I show like here, I mined 682 birch logs totally. I've picked up 675. And then here's glowstone. I mined 18 glowstone. Here's obsidian. I've mined 44 obsidian. I mined a little bit more because I needed to make another portal. Here's quartz. I mined 112 quartz ore. And I got that much quartz. I'm sure you could like look at like the fortune 3 average and you could see that that's about accurate. I have recorded all of the other footage, so I can prove anything else. But like for mining those blocks, I just can't prove it because like, I don't know, like it's so annoying, but whatever. I mean, things happen, I guess.
Yeah, so as you just saw, I was pretty annoyed at that because it just meant that some people might just be like suspicious about that. Oh, yeah, your recording randomly decides to freeze, but I mean, can't really do much. I craft all my comparators, I craft all of my observers, I craft all of my well, I only need 1 redstone lamp, but I decided to craft more than that. I'm just like really efficient at getting all of my resources.
Okay, I know that like to the viewer, this entire video is like pretty short, but to me that honestly pissed me off like a lot. I don't really want to record for the day anymore. I'll probably finish this tomorrow. We still have pistons left, target blocks left, ice left, rails left, and water and lava. So there's not too much left.
So actually in that big list where I listed everything that I still needed, there wasn't that many like different separate items that I needed, but it was actually still a lot of work that I don't know why, like it seemed like that it wasn't. So this was actually still a pretty big grind left. Obviously like lava and stuff like that wasn't too difficult, but everything else that I needed I had to go pretty far for. But first I needed some more redstone because I miscalculated how much redstone I needed. I thought I needed much less, but I guess I didn't know like how much each redstone component costs. I needed like a stack and a half of observers, tons of pistons, and all that kind of stuff. So I decided to go on another mining trip and mine a ton of redstone. This one wasn't as long because redstone, obviously you get way more from one block than you do with iron. I think you get like 4 times more on average. So it wasn't too long, but I got enough redstone there pretty easily. And I needed to get a lot of hay bales for target blocks. And I decided that the most efficient way to do that was to go to and find villages and mine hay bales. The first village I found, unfortunately, only had 1 hay bale stack. Then I found a second village, which is this acacia village, and there was definitely enough hay bales here. Well, technically there wasn't, so I mined all of these hay bales, and I didn't have enough, so I had to mine some of this wheat that we're just growing to get just enough hay bales. I got exactly a stack of hay bales from this, and I decided to kind of go back. And now is the really interesting part of this run. So as soon as I craft these target blocks, I saw it was nighttime, and I decided to go ahead and go back to that swamp biome that I was talking about before. And I decided that I need a lot of slime balls for I think it was like a stack and a half of sticky pistons. So I basically become the slime assassin, and I'm just kind of flying above, and as soon as I see a slime, I go down on it and I decide to kill it. Really interestingly though, I did have looting. And I think I should have like made a slime farm or something like that, because you don't see in this video, I cut out like a lot of it, but I spent hours in this swamp biome. And for some reason, I just couldn't get slimes. I don't know why. I even did the trick where I like go up and slowly circle down to find slime. The first couple nights I found slimes like all the time, like very easily. But like I went a lot later. I didn't even, and obviously I know that like during full moons more slime spawn and stuff like that. But I know I went like during like I think it was like waning gibbous and waxing gibbous, and I still didn't find any like slimes at all. So it's really unfortunate.
If someone can explain to me how to get more slime spawns, please let me know. I did put my difficulty on hard. I also used 5 render distance, and I just kind of flew around. I think it was because the biome was too small or something like that. I'm not really sure. But alas, it was morning, so I go back home, and I just mined some more stone because I needed some stone. And there was a wandering trader, and I saw that he had packed ice, and I don't know why. I've never really traded with wandering traders before because, I mean, look at all of their other trades. They're literally horrible. But me being the speedrunner that I am, I was like, wait, I don't have to go and find a ice spikes, right, frozen ocean biome. So I decided to waste like this entire day, you know, a big, huge time waste, where I get like tons and tons of emeralds from sticks. I traded out all of my wood, so I wasted a ton of wood on sticks. I think even still I have like a double chest in my house right now with like tons and tons of sticks. Like it's like 10 stacks of sticks. And I just realized, oh wait, the trade's locked. So I don't know. I got really upset, and I just killed this stupid wandering trader. I wasted so much time here. I don't even know why. Like I'm just never gonna ever trade with wandering traders ever again. They're the most useless mechanic in the game. So you can see that like this moon phase is pretty good. And I think this night actually I got 2 more slime spots. There's one. It wasn't a super like big slime, but it was still a slime spawn, which is pretty decent. And I think there was one more this night that I got, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here we go. Here's one more slime spawn that I got. This was the big one. I almost got all my slime. I think I got a stack in like 15. I need like a stack in like 25. I needed one more slime, and I spent like 10 more nights here. And I mean you'll see eventually. But I crafted all of my pistons. But I didn't have enough stone, so I go back down. I mine some more stone. Oh, and by the way, if you're still watching, thank you. I never really have edited a video like this ever before, so let me know if you have any critiques or anything like that. Rendering too much. My elytra, as you can see though, was basically broken at this point.
So I haven't really had a time to properly sit down, but I'm currently waiting for it to be nighttime. I believe this night is when phantoms will spawn. The reason that I need elytra is because I need packed ice, and obviously I'm in a desert biome right now, so I have to travel very, very far. And then I also have to travel all the way back, so I'm pretty sure that it's worth it to wait for nighttime. But I basically organized my chests, which, by the way, side note, you guys saw that mining trip. I mined a ton of iron, and I thought that I needed all of it. Turns out that I didn't. I still have 13.5 stacks of iron, which is absolutely insane. I did organize some of my chests. I emptied out all of my shulker boxes, and I also put new shulker boxes here. These are the shulker boxes for the farm, so I can transfer all of these materials in. The only thing that I need is a little bit more slime for the sticky pistons, and obviously the packed ice. So from my understanding, I haven't picked up a single rose this entire game. So why not pick up our first rose? I can see one right there. Yeah, there we go. New recipes as well. That's the first time I've ever picked up a rose on this world. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, the other thing that I did when I was waiting for phantoms to spawn, as you can see, is place torches everywhere around my base. I don't really have any plan to just place torches everywhere because I really hated mob spawning in my base. I guess while I'm waiting, I could also just repair all my armor. Unfortunately, I can't repair my boots because they have Curse of Binding on them, and I'm not going to die right now. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I have a diamond helmet with Unbreaking 3, but I have a iron helmet with Protection 4, which I'm pretty sure is better. This looks really weird. Okay, so it's nighttime, and I'm actually not even sure if phantoms are going to come tonight either, so I'm going to have to wait another full day.
And there were also no phantoms this entire second night either. But about like halfway through this night, as you can see, I decide, you know what, I'm actually going to go and just go to the swamp and farm some slime, because I still need a little bit of slime. And I used up all of my durability, all the remaining durability on my elytra left, to go to this swamp, and I fly around, and of course I found absolutely nothing this entire time. This is one of my like 5 other trips that I made to the swamp where I just found nothing at all, and that's actually why my elytra broke. I repaired it twice, I think. Obviously this first time you'll see, but I think I repaired it a second time and it actually didn't put on camera, and I just waited the entire night and didn't find anything. Luckily though, the next night I found phantoms, so I could finally repair my elytra. And I do have looting, so I kill all of these phantoms. There was only one spawn the first time. I'm not really sure how they work. I thought it was like within a 3 to 4 spawn all the time. But regardless, the second time, like, I think 3 phantoms spawn. So there's 1, there's 2, and okay, no, there's only 2. And my elytra broke about halfway back to my house, so I had to go back on foot. Unfortunately, it wasn't really too big of a deal though. I eventually made it all the way back to my house, and I repaired my elytra. And I decided to just immediately fly and find some ice, except I had to go back and craft some rockets because I forgot about that. But anyways, I decided to go out and I decided to find a frozen ocean biome. I know ice spikes are really rare. There's the frozen ocean biome, so I decided to mine all of the packed ice that I need. I needed about 30, but I mined like, I think it was like 50 in total that I mined. So it really wasn't too big of a deal. And that shipwreck that you saw earlier, I decided to loot it on the way back. I found some paper in it, which is kind of useful. And I also found this suspicious stew, which I decided to eat. I don't usually do this, but I don't know. I just really wanted to see what it was. It was jump boost, in case you were curious. And yeah, I decided to fly back to my base.
And yeah, which by the way, if you've watched this long, thank you. Like seriously, thank you for sticking around. And I know I'm not really the most interesting guy, but I don't know. I think this is a really like cool project that I've been working on. And I think at this point I have every single material that I need, borrowing the like 10 slime blocks or slime balls for the last few sticky pistons to completely finish the bonemeal farm. This is what I meant when I said that this video went way out of scope, by the way. It was supposed to just be a very, very simple cactus farm that I could build in like a day. And it ended up being this multi-week long project where I would sit down and collect all of these extremely, extremely expensive resources. Because don't get me wrong, this farm was not cheap to make. It's really interesting though, because like the farm is so efficient that it creates so much bone meal that I think I'll have to make a wood farm. This video is already extremely long and I didn't want it to be any longer, but after I recorded this video, I added a couple of adjustments. I had, I think, probably about like 60 chests in this video. I upgraded that to 540 chests and all of them are already full, so I'll definitely have to like somehow, you know, figure out a storage solution for it. One of my friends suggested to make a shulker farm and then fill up every single chest with shulker boxes, which is isn't a horrible idea. It's also just really, really expensive, and you still have to get all of the wood. I was thinking to make a manual wood farm and then finish the cactus farm and then use the bone meal from that farm, you know, as it's just like baking a little amount of bone meal to farm wood, and then just, you know, have a really, really efficient wood farm. I saw a really, really cheap design by Squilly, I think his name is. So shout out to Squilly for that design. It was really, really cool design. It basically uses a really cool mechanic. Actually, I might make... So once I'd collected all of the resources, the full farm build took about 2 hours. I was referencing a guide on my second monitor. But honestly, it felt really, really nice to place all of these blocks down. These hoppers were really interesting. Again, I mined way more iron than I had to. I think I did use about like 5 or 6 stacks of the iron on the final storage system. And I can still use it like the last amount just to have a larger buffer. So I don't have to worry about roses just completely going to waste. Oh, also, I don't know if I just said it, but shout out to Ilmingo for this farm design. Really, really cool farm. Ilmingo is honestly like the GOAT of farms. He makes really, really cool farms. He does a lot of like cool tests and experiments on his channel as well. I'll link it in the description if you want to watch it. Also, ice and water to transport items. I don't know why I've never had like a farm where I've done something like this before. I usually just use a ton of hoppers. Oh, also, another side note. In the video, I said that you need about 3 or 4 stacks of stone or dirt. And I thought that I could just use sandstone because I thought that it was functionally the same thing. It turns out I completely forgot that, you know, moss can't spread on sandstone, obviously. So that was a big blunder on my part, so I had to mine those like 5 stacks of stone. And yeah, I'm placing all of this glass. Oh, also, this was the last slime I got. I visited the slime quite a few times during this farm. It was probably about 2 or 3 times. Maybe it was like 3 or 4 times. And I did eventually finally find the last farm. So I go back and I place all of this water down. Also, placing these pistons felt really, really good. Maybe it's because like they're super expensive, and also just because they're in like a completely straight line. So it felt pretty good. And something that's actually really, really interesting about this farm is it's completely symmetrical. There are 2 modules on each side. So when I'm doing this second side, I do it much faster, obviously, because I've already done it. But the second more interesting thing is that I tried to do it completely off memory, whereas I used a guide for the first one. Not because I don't really understand how the farm works. Obviously, it's not like a super complicated farm, and I've played this game for like 15 years. I know how the farm works. But it's because I just don't want to mess anything up, because if I mess up like one block, or like I place one observer like facing the wrong way, then I have to break the entire farm, which is never really like a good feeling. And I didn't really want to waste any time considering I was already super duper late. Oh, also, I think I mentioned it in one of the recordings where I had my microphone on, but this took a lot of storage. Again, I recorded like every single second of footage. There was that clip while I was mining the cobblestone, where I also got wood and quartz in that clip that got where my recording froze and it got corrupted. And there's also a second one that you'll see in just a little bit that got corrupted as well. So I didn't have every single second of footage, but mostly I had almost every single second of footage, and it was about 15 hours long. And I also you know, kind of pre-edited a lot of stuff, but I kept all of the raw footage. So in total, this video was about 180 gigabytes of just purely footage before I even actually like fully started editing stuff, just like off like condensing basic stuff and like removing the completely random, you know, granny trips or like time-lapse and like hour-long clips of me just mining stone or wood or whatever. And yeah, I don't know, this is really interesting as well, just making a smooth stone generator, which I've never done before because you never really need a smooth stone generator. And this is just kind of the finishing touching. This is the circuit to make the water get dispensed so it can carry everything in. And I'm pretty sure we are now done the farm.
So now, from my understanding, okay. Okay, I believe. Oh my god! Let's go! Dude, that's so sick! Oh my god. So basically how this farm works is split into 4 sections. So you'll see here 1, 2, 3, 4. And beneath each patch of stone, so all 4 patches of stone, there is a dispenser and a moss block. Whenever you bone meal a moss block, it will cause most, not all, it's dependent on luck sometimes. So you can see it'll always be different patterns, but it will turn most of the stone blocks near it into moss blocks. And you can actually compost moss blocks to also create bone meal. And the amount of moss that one bone meal creates, if you have a large enough patch of stone, is more than it uses. So it means that eventually you start getting a ton of bone meal. And once all of these hoppers and all of these dispensers fill up with bone meal, this farm is really efficient and it'll start creating 2 bone meal per section per run of it. So this will create 8 bone meal right here basically. And then we're going to take the output of that bone meal and we're going to put it into a flower farm to create infinite roses for my girlfriend.
So yeah, that's like the main thing done. That's the main farm done. There are like a couple of other chores that I have to do. So there are technically 2 more farms. So I needed some mud blocks because mud's actually 1 block or one pixel thinner than a full block. So I can go through it through it and go into a hopper. I needed a lot of wood, as you can see, that I'm mining for a bunch of chests to store all of the roses in. I still need way more wood, and I already expanded it, but I just need so much wood. So I'm going to make a wood farm in this world eventually. And unfortunately, my game froze again. It isn't too bad because I noticed it. Like, I just have to finish farming the wood. So I lost some wood farming footage, but it's not that big of a deal. I don't know why it freezes. I'm assuming it's when you're mining the same block over and over, because it froze when I was mining the wood and then also when I was mining the cobblestone. But I also mined like 8,000 sand in total, which is more than all of the cobblestone and wood I've mined combined. So I'm not really sure exactly what it is. But I also extended this platform out, or not this platform, but I just like did a lot of like land flattening, so I had a lot of space to put my chests. I ended up filling all of this off camera. I honestly just really wanted to get this video. It was like over like an hour long already, and I don't know, it's really weird because I have a ton of footage, which I think I mentioned it in one of the voiceovers previously, but I had about like 15 hours of footage. I didn't really cut out anything except for those those 2 little sections of the game freezing, but everything else was on camera. So it was about 180 gigabytes of footage in total. But yeah, here's me just crafting all of my wood into chests. There's all of my wood, and here's all of my iron. I crafted all of my iron into hoppers. Maybe I should have left a little bit of iron in case we need it for other stuff. But here's me finally making the farm. I didn't mine some soul sand. I actually only needed 1 soul sand, but I ended up mining like I think almost like a stack. And then I did this initially because I thought the farm was too efficient, but turns out it creates on average 1.8 roses per second, and hoppers can transfer 2.5 items per second. So wasn't getting bottlenecks, so it didn't really matter at all. And this is just like the last thing. It's just like the really big pipe that goes all the way into a storage system. And yeah, and it just transfers all of it through ice. So I have to go back to the frozen ocean biome and I have to mine some more ice, which wasn't too big of a deal, like really at all. And then I go back and then I just replace all of the glass with ice. And basically how the system works is all of that bone meal gets fed into flowers. If a flower is 2 blocks high, so like peonies or roses or sunflowers, it will just duplicate the rows. It will go into the mud block through the hopper, and then it will go into this hopper and up that water stream with the soul sand, which is why I needed it. And then it will go into these hoppers. Hoppers work in a really, really weird way. I actually learned this method of mass storage from a guy on like a PS3 like 15 years ago. It was a video, but it still works in the current Java edition.
Okay, welcome. This is basically the completely finished farm. I mean, there has been a lot of work that went into this, as you can see. Alright, it's fully finished now. I do have a few more hoppers and a lot more chests, so I can definitely fill out this storage system a lot more. However, if I turn everything on, so I turn this on, this on, this on, and we can see that as soon as the buffer starts filling up, we'll see roses basically constantly coming. There we go. Roses that are constantly coming through the system. And they're going all the way across and they're going into our storage system, and they're being filled up by these chests. And we can see that this will on average produce 6,500 roses per hour. And that means that per day this will produce 156,000 roses, which is absolutely absurd. Well, technically it's a little bit more, because if you look at each individual rose bush, there are more than 1 rose on it. The issue is we can't actually calculate the exact number of roses because the texture is different from each side. This rose, for example, if you view it from a different side, there's now 2 roses, where this rose just completely disappears. So the texture is not exactly how you'd expect it to be. However, we can assume there's at least 3 roses per rose bush. So I've spent 0.61 days in this world, or 14.64 hours. The actual time that I've played in the world and not just had the game paused is 10.89 hours. There is a lot more research, testing, and planning that went on. Nothing in this video is fake. Every single thing happened in absolutely pure survival. If you check my statistics, I'm sure there is some sort of statistic that proves that this video is fake. If anyone wants to go through and actually check, I've mined a total of 8,377 sand, 2,000 stone, 1,500 sugarcane, 1,000 logs of both dark oak and birch logs, 500 deep slate iron ore,
455 coal ore, and most of this other stuff. In terms of times used, I've used my shovel 8,711 times, my pickaxe, a diamond pickaxe 5,000 times, and I've placed sand 2,800 times. I've also placed glass more times. Times picked up isn't really an accurate one because it doesn't account for when you take stuff out of an inventory. I mine 175 redstone ore. However, redstone and fortune, you get much more redstone, more than one redstone. I mine 145 spruce logs. And yeah, I'll just go through the entire list in case anyone wants to see if there's any wrongdoing. Let's go through the entire list once in case anyone wants to see anything. This is very, very long. 37 pearls. There's my entire list. Here's all my mobs. I've killed 25 blade. Here are my general stats as well. Number of deaths, 8 deaths total, 1,300 jumps. I'm sure there's some statistic here that proves that the video is fake. It's not fake, I promise. There has been some lost footage, and there has been a lot of stuff that I did off camera. I did even out a lot of this stuff off camera, which I didn't include. This used to be much more duney and hilly. There used to be a huge dune here, and also one here, which I've completely removed. And I've also flattened this whole area out. I hope you all enjoyed this video. This is for my girlfriend's birthday, although it is a little bit late because this took a while to render. This will be on a server that will run off of my home network 24/7, which means that this farm will be constantly creating roses for her. I did use one command. I did change these chunks to spawn chunks, so these chunks are always ticking. I was going to initially have a chunk loader, but that was outside of the scope of this video. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. I will answer anything that anyone wants to know. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.